You look gorgeous.
Thanks. You said you were going to be somewhat cute, so I tried to come somewhat cute for you.
No, you look very cute.
Thank
And
you.
by somewhat cute, I just mean like I put on something on my face and I'm wearing the smelliest white tee that I wore for like the past 3 days, but it's so hot. I almost wore that gray t-shirt,
It's
like a similar one.
I bought this from Good American because of the jeans we bought, and I'm literally waiting to hang up with you to call Reformation because anything you wear, you are my fashion icon, and now I must own.
I'm wearing them.
Exactly.
They're so comfortable. You like, I only wear sweats when I work from home, but these jeans are really doing something for me.
You know what jeans are that comfortable? They're not that flattering, but they're similarly very like soft and cozy as the Jerv Avenue jeans.
They're sold out. I checked yesterday.
They're not the best. I almost kind of regret keeping them.
Mm.
They're really, really soft and cozy, so I love having them to run errands and do whatever, but like they're not the most flattering jeans by any means.
Yeah, I checked the pants. They're sold out, but I bought their dress pants. I don't like how they fit. And I don't know if I need to
What size
I got a medium. And so like where they're supposed to sit.
I wear large.
Okay, that's what I think I'm going to size up and just sell the medium because I can't return them anymore. But where they sit, like I guess they're supposed to sit, but they're supposed to sit way too high for my body. Like my torso is not that long. I can't handle something that high up.
My torso is that long, but that's why I like wearing them differently because I'm trying to make my legs, whatever. Yeah, I bought large and again, took everything to get tailored. So I just tailor the waist a little bit and tailor the length and buy large because I like the width of them when they're large.
Yeah. Anywho, these are the Preston jeans from Reformation. I sized up 2 sizes.
I can't wait to do the same. And then did you see, because I'm also obsessed with your Sammy Miro jeans that I want so badly, they made them. I have to buy them. They made them in trouser version.
Oh, you do need those.
Is that not so fucking me?
I haven't seen them, but
I'll send them to you.
And I painted my nails like butter.
Oh, cute. I got my nails done too.
Cute. She's into blue right now, huh?
Blue. I did blue because I remembered Zoe Kravitz had this nail color once, and so did Riley. And those are 2 people that I will also copy anything they do because they have better taste than me. So I'm going with it.
I just saw Meadow, guys. I felt very spoiled.
That was really fun.
That was a good week.
I want to come. I told Aaron, he was like, when do you want to go back up? Like in the next month or 2? And I was like, no, within 3 weeks. I was like, we have stuff to do. We have people to see. It was so fun. I want to do a Monday work date with you and Dana and Zoe now.
Yeah, well, now I'm pissed I can't do that one today. Too much came up in my day.
I know.
Also, we never record on a Monday. It's like 9:50 a.m. So let's see how this goes. We need to roll into this.
Are you unpacking anything or are we going to just jump right into a Q&A?
Well, I was just going to tell them what we're doing and then we can unpack.
And then do a cutie little Q&A?
Yeah, we asked you guys on Instagram for questions. As always, set the best ones in. So make sure you're following us at Thoughts May Vary Pod on Instagram because we do these pretty consistently.
Pretty frequently. Absolutely.
So make sure that you follow us. So if you have any questions, you can get them in. Also on our website, which really needs refreshing. So don't judge us.
Oh, don't look at it yet.
But there is on the contact tab, you can ask us questions and send in questions whenever you'd like. And on Patreon, of course.
Of course.
Because we tend to answer those a lot quicker. So, Meadow, what are you unpacking? Tell us first.
I realized last night that I'm unpacking growth in a really beautiful way. July, particularly, and summer in general, is my season of trauma.
Right.
To say it lightly. And oh my God, is this the most emotionally grounded and fun and happy? I haven't thought about it once. I haven't had nightmares about it once, which is a huge, I've had nightmares every summer for 12 years.
That's a really big deal.
It is huge for me. And I didn't even realize till last night. I was kind of thinking ahead of this week. And one is the anniversary of my dad's death, which isn't always like the number one reason, but there's different things that happen throughout this month. But I saw that and was like, oh my God, like I've just been having so much fun living in joy and like letting go of those old narratives and old identities that were latched onto that trauma. And it feels fucking incredible.
Oh, that makes me really happy. I got chills.
And it kind of snuck up on me. Oh. You're such a big component of that. And it really snuck up on me. Like I just didn't even realize till we're halfway through the month. And I was like, oh my God, I'm crushing it this season.
Also, the fact that it's cancer season is just like a sick joke that like all of your, like that it's cancer season while your most trauma-filled season is like,
It's trauma
yeah.
season? Yeah, exactly. It really sets me up for a lot of success in the past.
Yeah, I can
Which
imagine.
is facetious as fuck.
Oh,
But
man.
I don't know, and I wanna say I would love to make this helpful and say some of the things I've done, but I think once again, it's one of those things where when you make minute decisions every day for 12 years, you wake up one day and realize how healed you are and how much you're in a different place. And
Mm,
it's not like one thing you can point to. It's every single day, the small choices to do something that makes yourself feel. But I love what Teffy said when she was like, her mom said to her, "You know what you need to do to make yourself feel better, so do it."
yeah.
Like, it is those small little choices. Like, if you need to go to Pilates today, go to Pilates today. If you need to take a break, if you need to meditate, if you need to color in your mindful coloring book, whatever you need to do for 5 minutes, do it, because compounded over time gives you this experience.
I think also having somebody like Teffy's mom, for example, having somebody in your life that you trust to push you in a healthy way. And I know that you
Yeah,
really have that relationship with, obviously, with Aaron, that you,
right.
because there's a difference, right? I
I
feel
was gonna say with you.
I try. You're the two
You
Tauruses in
too?
your life.
Yeah,
But no, for real. And
totally.
I was having this conversation with Zoe the other day, but I think it's so valuable to have people in your life that are super aware of your baseline so that they know,
Yeah,
but then they also know what's really low for you and what gets really dark for you. So maybe that's not the moment to like push in that same way, but just having people around you that are super aware of your just your highs and lows and like how you are.
idiosyncrasies
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And being able to
Yeah,
like have an accountability person if you don't live with someone like that or you don't have, that person like in your city or whatever, just having an accountability person that can help push you in moments where it's appropriate because I think that like
totally.
dude, sometimes someone just needs to like shake you and like you said how Tavi's mom said, just like you need to do, so do it. I don't think that's always
Even
appropriate, but like
yesterday.
a lot of the
Right.
times it's what we need because
It's
procrastination nation over here.
exactly. It's that little bit to understand you well enough to push you out of your comfort zone, but
Mhm.
not like kick you when you're down. Like that
100%.
special differentiation. Yesterday, even I was very late to uploading our episode on a Sunday night. So I was gonna go to like a fun new bar that we really love that I want to take you to next time you're down
Mhm.
here. And I was like, why go to a late night coffee shop when I could go get a cute little cocktail, Negroni, and sit and do my little computer work? And then I was telling Aaron, I was like, dragging my feet and lollygagging and being like, it's a Sunday. It's going to be so busy. Like, I shouldn't go. Whatever. I'll just stay here. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, you are a city girl. Like, just get up and get out. Like, go. And guess what? I drove past it and it was completely jam packed. So instead, I circled back, picked Aaron up, but we went on a date and I came home and worked.
Love
But
it.
those little moments of like, those little, like, I'll just be comfortable here, whatever, forget it. Like, I don't need to. And he was like, what? No, just fucking get out. Like, go do something.
Mhm.
Like, which is such a small example, but I love that you said that, like those little moments that count to push you out of your routine a little bit, shake things up for you.
100%. That literally happened to me the other day. We were gonna go. Remember how I told you I was like, "Oh, I want to go on a date night so bad," or just like not even date night because
Yeah.
we do that. I was like, I want to like go get like a little tipsy. I want to go out.
Yeah.
And the night
Yeah.
rolled around, and at like 10 p.m., we still hadn't made moves. And I was like,
Yeah.
ugh, we could just like play a game. Let's just like play a drinky game here,
Ride it out.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then we were like, no, even though right now it feels comfy and cozy to stay here, and I'm sure we'll have a great time, we have plenty of those nights to go. And then we ended up
Right.
going to this bar where we tried to go. It was packed. We made like a last minute decision, went somewhere else, and ended up running into a friend and like his friends. And then we all ended up like hanging out the whole night. It was like a great night.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
That is so much fun. That it reminds me the opposite side of this coin. I have an Aaronism on my phone that I was like, babe, do you want to like get drunk and flirt with each other? And Aaron goes, babe, you're already at the bottom of the hill. Just write it out and go to bed.
This is why I love that man
It's
so
really
much.
it's really either or for us, so I'm proud of
Dude.
you guys for getting yourself out of the house, because you and I particularly, like, we will close those blinds and watch TV all day.
But it's also
We
just
our
like,
work day even, we ended early, went home and watched
well, we
Kardashians
were
again.
pooped. Okay. We woke up at 7
We were
a.m.
pooped.
We woke up at, that's
We
the
were
thing
pooped.
is like, okay, so you know how like every major fucking CEO is like, do all of your really like all of your difficult work first. which is
You know
so
what I'm going to say about this?
true. I know, but I think it's true. I think that's at least how I work, because if 4 p.m. rolls around and I haven't done something important, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Right. So for me, I like to get all of my hardest work done before like the afternoon. It just works for me, whatever.
Right.
But
no, it works for me too.
When we have like, for example, that day we were recording on Kelsey's podcast, when I get like overstimulated like that really early on, I feel like I have done a week's
burnout
worth of work. I'm like, oh my God, put me to bed. And that's what happened that day.
Totally. Gaby, what are you unpacking?
Oh, wait, I had a question for you. No, I had a question for you, because what you're unpacking is really beautiful and really valuable. I feel like it's going to give and provide a lot of hope for people that maybe have a season every year that they like don't look forward to, because they're like, fuck.
I still hate summer. Even without the trauma, I'm like, I'm too white for the sun. Like, put me in the clouds. The fashion sucks because I just don't want to wear clothes, like get everything off my body. Like summer's not my season in general. Yeah. What was it? Sorry.
Was there anything that you did prior to this year that you did to kind of like prep, or you just like wrote it out?
I think I always will be mindful of upticking the routines. So like those small daily choices that we make every single day. If I know we're rolling into summer, I'm like, okay, so actually commit to the meditation every morning, which I'm kind of off right now because I really fluctuate with I guess the human design really helped me parcel that out. Like I have a lot of set systems and habits that I really love, but I can't do every single one every single day. Like I really have to meet myself with where I'm at for which ones I want to do. It's just who has the hours in the day. But I do make a point to dedicate, hour at morning, hour at night, whichever ones you're going to do something. Yeah. So I create more rigid structures to make sure I'm doing every single thing every single day. As opposed to in other seasons when I'm doing well, I'm more lax with myself. But I try to kick that up before the season comes. So like your baseline is already higher before your season comes.
Right. You're not hitting that
You're not hitting burnout and then going backwards.
And then you're like,
exactly.
Now let's kick up to meditating for 20 minutes a day.
Right.
Like, no.
Preventative measures, baby. Prevention and early intervention.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
That's like an actual behavioral healthcare model.
There you go.
PEI, prevention and early intervention care. Yeah, it's cool.
Do you know how we always talk about on the podcast about how people take everything out of context in terms of anything healing and just roll with it? Because we are on the internet and we post things. Do you know what it made me think of? How many times our short clips talking about choosing the or get totally taken out of context? Okay, so if you're new here, Meadow has this beautiful phrase called choosing the or.
It's trademarked. Like it's trademarked. No one can have it. It's the way in which I define my resiliency. So if you're going through something really, really hard, you can either go through that, or you don't have to know what or looks like. You don't have to know like what's on the other side, what you're going to do. You just know you have one, like what's the alternative, as Teffy says. Choose that or and go that way. Figure it out.
So what you were saying earlier is a perfect example of that, of choosing those small decisions, making those small decisions every single day is a version of choosing the or.
Totally.
Because you're making tiny, tiny choices that then impact you really big picture. And you can implement that into every part of your life. Like if you've been listening to the podcast recently, you know that that's what I've been doing when it comes to my work life.
Yeah, baby.
Instead of trying to push this boulder up the mountain, I'm making small decisions every day that make the process go by smoother and simpler and easier. And then all of a sudden I'm going to wake up in 2 years and be like, oh my God, look at what created.
And that was such a reframing the 1% better too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I can just so picture out of context how choosing the or can sound, because people can take it and be like, don't be depressed. Choose the or.
Oh gosh. Yeah. No.
Because we've had that happen.
We are by no means saying gaslight your depression, which is a joke we've said on here before. And like spiritually bypassing, just don't be depressed.
No.
That's not the whole point. Is I'm depressed, I can sit into this depression. Choosing the or is choosing to reach out for help rather than sitting in it. That's what choosing the or. The choosing the or is those like really hard, small, like drag yourself out of the ground. But it's implementing all these structures and systems that we were talking about, asking for help, for whether it's a professional, starting to journal, calling a friend, explaining how you feel, whatever that is. Choosing the or is just finding one thing to do to kind of help you start making changes. Okay, what are you unpacking, baby?
Any hoozles? Oh, fuck.
Any hoozles? You're chock full of the funny sayings recently. I mean, you always are, but you've really like upticked them.
Thank you. I'm really channeling my father these days.
Yeah, you really are. What did Kelsey? Wait, what was the one that none of Kelsey's friends knew?
The world is your
Oh,
oyster.
yeah, that is just ridiculous. We should get her something that says that. That's funny.
That is funny. Who doesn't know what that means? What am I currently unpacking?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. How do I say this? I am currently unpacking, enjoying the relationships that I choose to have in my life for what they are.
Ooh, I'm
Does
into
that make
this.
sense?
Yes, and elaborate.
We can only do work on ourselves. We cannot expect others to change in the way that we need them to change. And realistically, even if they make changes in their life, it's probably never going to exactly align with what we need because at the end of the day, like they're ultimately doing their best and we can't control somebody's behavior. We can only control our reactions. There are relationships in my life that I feel like have been combative for a long time. And I've just accepted the fact that I want these people in my life. And because I want these people in my life, I just have to meet them where they're at and create my own boundaries in terms of what I am willing to share or hold or how much space I'm willing to hold. But hear me when I say this, that boundary is for me.
Yes. Yes.
We're not Jonah Hill over here. I'm not making a demand of somebody else. That boundary is for me and protects me. You can only build a fence on your side of the property.
That is one of the most beautifully spiritual, self-aware, allows you to like actually deeply connect with empathy to real people and who they actually are and where they actually are. Like that is some deep fucking real work.
Thanks. And I'm proud of myself for getting to that point because it's taken me a really, really long time.
Because it's hard to let go of what you want something to be and reconcile with what things are. And certain relationships that mean a lot to you. Oof, I feel you.
I'm proud of myself, for getting to that place. And I'm also proud of myself for not feeling the need to prove to them, like, haha, look at what I am doing in order to allow you to be fucking annoying. I don't feel the need like to explain that, to express that. And I've also gotten really good at when something creeps into my airspace.
Yeah.
I'm really good at just like swatting it.
You're not outsourcing your
and
worth
just being
anymore.
like, that's not like, that's not mine. I don't need that. Or that was, I know that wasn't intended to be offensive towards me. Right. I know that's not how you meant it.
I don't need to take that with me. Yeah.
Ciao, Pascal, move on,
Love, 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 love that.
It's keeping me real zen. Let me tell you.
Did you do anything in particular to manage it? Did you talk about it with a coach? Was it just realizations you had in journaling? Like what's helped to kind of get you to that place?
Literally all of the above. I talked about it with my coach. I've journaled about this for a while. I've said what I need to say for the most part. This isn't like signed, sealed, delivered. It's just steps that I'm in.
To these people in general or to yourself?
To these people in general, just because I feel like there are more conversations that need to be had. I just frankly am like not there yet. And that's also a point that I want to make. If you're not in a space where you're ready to have some sort of heavy conversation with somebody because you're just like happy with where you guys are at right now, or frankly, like you just don't have it in you, that's your prerogative. And I remember so clearly with my ex, my ex, we were talking about things that I had gone through at Hoffman and like realizations I had had like around my parents, for example. And I was like, yeah, there's like certain things that like, he was like, well, have you said that to them? And I was like, no. And we like got into a fight about it. And I know you are going to know what ex I'm talking about, I'm telling you this.
Of course.
Because they're like, well, I just don't, like, you just need to tell them. You just need to tell them that's your thing. And I was like, honesty is not always the best policy. In fact, a lot of times it can be really cruel.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, no me da la gana. Like, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
it is not what I want to do right now. Like I have other shit going on. I don't feel like sitting down with my fucking parents and having this like long-winded drama conversation because like I have other shit on my mind. I'm like, no me da la gana. Like that's it, period.
This is another.
And they like couldn't meet me there.
Well, it's another beautiful example of someone not understanding boundaries. Like you're putting a boundary around your own healing. Of course, it's going to change the way you show up in certain relationships, but they don't need to be privy to everything you had to work through in order to get there.
No.
And like you said, in fact, it could be kind of cruel because everything's through our own lens.
Exactly.
Like everything, like your reality of that experience is not going to be theirs. And then that like disconnect, or if it causes an argument, whatever, is like, it's none of their fucking business. It's about your own peace and you showing up as you want to show up.
It's up to me how I want to heal.
Totally.
And heal, you know, I can't mend the relationship on my own. Like there are two people in relationships.
Right.
But it is up to me how I want to approach that healing from my end. And if I'm not in a space where like I want to do, or maybe I just know that they're not ready to hear that and they're not going to take it in the way that I mean it. And it's just going to disrupt. And I'd rather just forgive and move on and like meet them where they're at now.
Bitch,
do you know what I mean?
You are so on your Ram Dass shit.
Thanks.
I really, really, really encourage people that feel like they haven't been able to do this to like take a deep look at this or use this as a journal prompt, because this has liberated me in certain relationships. It's liberating you in certain relationships. Like this just, it's like, once again, like forgiveness, right? Like the boundary, forgiveness, whatever, it's all for us, not for them. It's for your own healing and your ease to move through the world like a little bit easier. I got just meeting the world where it's at in a larger sense.
You're also just taking pressure.
Freeing.
It's freeing for us and it's also freeing for them, because we've talked about this, how it's not fair to expect everything from one person. And, you know, maybe more specifically with family where like you really are choosing to, you know, like these people are in your life. So like maybe this exercise works better there. But even with friends, I think first person to tell you like if a relationship is unhealthy, abusive, toxic, whatever it is, like cut that bitch off. And I think that at the same time, we are also living in a time where people cut very quickly.
Rather than working through
and are like, in the name of a boundary, I'm going to cut you out of my life this quickly. And I don't always think that's fair. And I think that it might bite you in the ass because you're just creating an echo chamber around yourself.
And conflict is healthy. Like a certain amount of conflict and being able to work through it and learning how to meet people where they're at. And I also think, to your point, the gift that you give someone else in the relationship when you're exercising this practice is allowing them to then show up more and allowing them to change more and grow more as they need to. Who are we to say, I need you to change this way? We don't know what they need. We don't know what their authentic truth is. Like, we allow them to step into that so much more easily when we take away our expectations of how they should be doing it. It's just, oh man,
it just creates ease on both ends.
Love that unpacking.
Thank you. Should we jump into Q&A?
Yeah, we absolutely should. I'm going to make that the journal prompt of this week.
Yeah, another reason to follow us on Instagram. Meadow posts beautiful journal plumps.
Plumps. Also, our memes are
beautiful journal plumps.
Hilarious.
Thank you very much.
We just have a fun time over there.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, let us get into it. We got a good amount of relationship questions, which j'adore. Are breakups always good, considering you always grow and change as a result?
I mean, it's hard to just typecast everything as good, right? It is hard to do that. At the same time, for the most part, if breakups are aligned with pushing you to where you need to be, that it has a good outcome in the end, a good lesson to it. But breakups are some of the hardest fucking shit you can go through. And there's also so many different ways breakups can occur. I have a hard time just labeling it all as good.
I agree. I do think, though, that everything is a lesson, is an opportunity for a lesson.
Everything
as
is
annoying as that sounds.
Right.
It's true. So I think that
is good.
It's positive in the way that like you'll learn something. Now, where I think it gets gross and sticky and unhealthy is when there's the back and forth, like make up your mind. Do the healing or don't do the healing. Why are we getting back together and breaking up 400 times? You're just causing minor, small abrasions in the relationship over and over and over and over and over again. Like you're just making it more difficult.
Coming from two people who have done that before. So
and sometimes it works.
Speaking from experience, learn from our mistakes.
You know when I've seen it work? When it was one time that there was a breakup and then they got back together. Like, I have seen people that are married that they needed that time apart.
Right.
They needed to do that. That's when I've seen it work.
Right.
Again, not to totally typecast everything.
Any hard changes have lessons in them. Does that make
Yes.
sense? Like any big hard change, like grief, breakups, moves, like anything that is unexpected and hard and scary and feels like a big low in your life always comes wrapped with like a really important lesson that'll help you move forward. It's up to you whether you take that lesson or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Good is a hard word to attach to that though.
How do I get comfortable with the idea of meeting a therapist over Zoom? It seems so weird. I mean, like it is. You're
Oh,
not
it
alone.
is weird. Of course it's weird. It is so weird. Do you have tips? Because you did that more recently than I did.
I just get comfortable in my own apartment. Like I sit on the couch or somewhere that I can just like be cozy and it doesn't feel like a meeting. It's going to maybe feel awkward at first, and that's fine. I think if there's some days that you guys are fine with doing like just camera off, that's okay. But also, I think there's like something nice about human to human interaction.
Totally.
I would just do it. Like, just do it and try. And if it feels uncomfortable, push through for a little bit. But like, I don't really know how to make it feel less awkward other than like you just get comfortable with it. Is that very
I feel
unhelpful?
the exact same way. No, I feel the same way. I did that. I'm trying to think the first time I ever did virtual therapy was when I was in college. And now I'm on the flip side where I see clients virtually. And I think in both scenarios, I did the same thing. Like I used it to my advantage to be in my safe space. So if your safe space is your bedroom, or if you share a bedroom, just your bed or whatever it is, like use your comfortability in your safe space as an advantage to be in your zone so it can let you open up more because you're in your little cocoon. I think that was an easy way for me to lean into it. And still to this day on the other side of it, I do the same thing. Like I make sure I'm in a comfy spot in my home. I'm, freshly meditated, zoned in my space so I can like really show up and feel very present. Of course, it's always weird. And maybe you could ask your therapist to do fun different things. Like if like you said, like if you want some camera off days, or if it maybe seeing them isn't as supportive. I know my therapist does beach walk and talks. And like, how fun would it be if you could go walk in your local park and be on the phone with your therapist and they're walking somewhere too? Like maybe they'd be open to trying like a different format for you.
I also love
Frankly, it's a beautiful thing to start therapy with. This feels weird and I don't know how to open up when I'm on the computer. Let's explore that.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. I like what you said about meditating before, because I know that I've jumped in from answering an email into therapy and it feels weird because think about it. You would normally drive and have that 20, 30 minutes to get there and
think about what you want to say or whatever. Yeah.
So maybe give some time for before, so you're not just like jumping in from like a meeting to therapy, because it takes a moment to recalibrate.
Sure. Totally.
Treat it as if you were driving there.
That. And even if that means go on a walk around the block once, come back, get on the call. Like even if it has to be very short, whatever, it helps reprime your brain. Yeah. I love that suggestion.
Oh, Meadow, this is a good question for you.
Oh, okay.
What's your favorite way of decompressing? I'm a public servant and work can be a lot.
Oh, baby. Boy, can it. Something that's just coming to mind right away. I think when you're really heady into that type of work, like when I was deep in the service realm, bottom up processing as opposed to top down felt a lot more restorative, a lot quicker. Meaning rather than overthinking about what I'm going through or intellectualize something or trying to calm down my mind, going to the body first and then moving up to your mind was a lot easier. So again, walking, physical movement, stretching, maybe tapping, like a meditation where you do tapping, like things to kind of release somatic healing, even if it's just an exercise or Pilates class, like things to get in the body and get regrounded in your body can slow down and calm down and heal your mind, but in a way that's so embodying and present when all day long you're very, very heady. I think that's one of the easiest ways to make it feel most impactful. But that being said, God, there's so many different coping techniques. You know what I mean? And again, I always organize them like mind, body, spirit, this. Routine is probably the most important aspect if you have like an ongoing hard job. Again, 15 minutes, an hour, 5 minutes, whatever you can allot for morning and night, non-negotiable. You're going to do something in that time that supports you. And just committing to that every single day. It's always these small little daily choices. But I think when I was in that realm, like that bottom up processing just was the easiest way for me to kind of come back to myself. And then afterwards, when you feel more embodied, your mind feels a little clearer. Then you take that energy into the journaling or that energy into the therapy space or whatever it is. And it allows for the processing and not such a you're talking to two girls that over intellectualize fucking everything.
No, but this
I
is
mean?
very helpful.
So,
This is helpful. This is helpful. This is helpful.
okay.
For Gaby, how do you stay in touch with your Latin roots? Are there things you do specifically? That's
I
a nice
love that
question. This is also from the
question.
same
Yeah, it's
person
really nice.
that always asks the most thoughtful questions ever. So thank you for always submitting really thoughtful questions.
I have someone in mind, I think, who it is.
Yeah, you're correct. And then they have one specifically for you after.
Okay.
How do I stay in touch with my Latin roots? I listen to a lot of Latin music, like a lot of Latin music. What?
The new Tiny album, I listened to the whole way home. It's
Did you?
So fucking good. I can't. Oh my God. I was telling Aaron, I was like, it's not even sound like Latin. Look, there's hip hop roots and it's like Tame Impala and Evanescence. I did the whole fucking thing.
It's so good.
Please continue.
It's so good. Everybody go listen. One of like my besties' fiance just came out with a new album. It's called Data.
And it's so good.
It's so fucking good. Like I have showed this, like Meadow just said, I've showed this to people who like don't really listen to Latin music. It's like, of course, there's like the typical reggaeton beats. There's like the regular whatever. Oh my God. Tiny's a genius.
No, the production is so next level.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone go listen to Data. I listen to a lot of Latin music, which also, by the way, Spanish was my first language. And then obviously just like growing up in Miami, you're speaking a lot of Spanish, but I think like a lot of immigrant families, like a lot of English was spoken in the house to like make sure we didn't have accents and that we know how to speak English perfectly. And so even though I was speaking in Spanish with people in my life, and although my parents spoke to me a lot in Spanish, they didn't make me speak back to them in Spanish. And so as I got older, my Spanish got worse and worse and worse. Listening to a ton of Latin music improves my Spanish 10 times over.
Totally. I can
good
see
tip
that.
for people. I listen to a lot of Latin music. I cook, not as much as I would like to, but I do have a Cuban cookbook. That's like the Cuban cookbook that I always like look through and stuff. And then honestly, I really just surround myself with people that make me feel like home. And I don't even mean Miami. My parents are both Cuban, and there is just something that feels so cozy and special about particularly Caribbean Latins. I don't discriminate against any of my Latino people, but just having like Puerto Ricans specifically, because my mom grew up in Puerto Rico and my aunt was born there. So like all of my cousins are Puerto Rican on my mom's side, and I have a lot of Puerto Rican family and I have a lot of really good friends that are Puerto Rican. So like specifically Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, like that sort of Latino side, I really vibe with. Venezuelans too. And I remember when I first moved to New York, when I graduated from college, I was really in a space where like, I mean, I've told you this story a million times. I grew up with a lot of Latins, but I grew up with like a lot of Miami Latins. And then when I went to college, there were a lot of South Americans. Sometimes just the vibe is different. I really was looking for like that very lighthearted, fun, like loving life. Let's go shake some ass and listen to a good reggaeton type of Latino vibe. I really manifested that into my life and I found those people, and I would really urge you, if you're like craving that, there's those people around. Like we are around somewhere. Trust me. Like I moved to LA and I was like, there's no Cubans. I have met Cubans living here. Not that many, but I have met Cubans. So like we are out there, we are around. So just make it an effort on your end to really put that energy out there of like, I want to attract this into my life. Watch shows that are in Spanish. Let your TikTok algorithm become Latin people. Like follow creators that, you know, feel and remind you of like your friends and family and of your culture. And if you're in a city that like you can explore that, like I live in LA. There's obviously a very large Mexican culture here, and my boyfriend is part Mexican. And so we make sure to do a lot of that together. And it's also fun for me because Mexican culture is so different from Cuban culture and Puerto Rican culture. So like I'm learning, even also just like the kids of immigrants, it's very different. Like Chicano culture here versus like Cuban Americans in Miami, like it's super different. So it's really interesting learning that as well. But like we make a really big effort to like do things that like are like authentically Chicano in LA or whatever it is. Like, I don't know. Effort is made though. I will say effort is made.
Yeah. If you listen to season 1, Gaby, we watched you put this intention out, not have friends that you felt like you could explore this with, like really try to seek that out. And now you have them. So please, everyone, use Gaby as an expander. Like when you put that out there, it'll find you.
Yeah. I am still trying to find the people though in LA, I will say, because when I like really put that intention out there, I was like living in New York and I found those people and they're in Miami for the most part. So
Yeah.
I don't see that many of them when I'm in
LA
LA.
baddies, hit up Gaby.
Yeah. Call me.
But you also did another fun thing recently that is inner child work plus Latin heritage work, which was dominoes, baby. You've been playing dominoes again.
Oh yeah. Dana, our
And
dear
that's
friend
something you
Dana,
did
gave
as a
me.
little kid.
Yeah, I used to play
Yeah.
dominoes a lot with my dad, and Dana gave me a domino set for my birthday.
And it's stunning. It's
Yeah, it's so
gorgeous
cute.
and so fun. And it's like that's such a fun way to connect. Like I know
Yeah.
Aaron and I are trying to now, obviously, like we Aaron and I talk a lot about it too, being a child of a Filipino immigrant versus like you in Cuba. It's just like you said, it's so much fun to compare the different ways that people have same and different experiences. But so we're trying to learn how to play mahjong now, so we can play with all the
Fun.
Filipino aunties. So I'll learn mahjong. You teach me dominoes. We'll switch. You know,
We'll switch. It's just it's so important, you guys, and I really just urge people, like I said 100 times, it was an effort on my end because
yeah,
even growing up in Miami, like I so took it for granted because there's Latins everywhere around you
of
or
course,
Cubans
yeah,
everywhere around you, but that is such like a specific type of environment that maybe wasn't like the best like for me when I was in my early 20s. Do you know what I mean?
right,
And so that's when I was
right,
like living in New York and I started finding like whatever it was, like I adapt because like every culture, it's multifaceted and there are parts of it that are amazing and there are parts of it that are not. And as you grow, you will figure out what feels right for you. But like it is like a constant thing. But it's like even like at my birthday, like when even just the fact that Teffy was there, the way that I speak changes. Like a different
yeah,
side of me
yeah,
is exposed and it makes me feel if I'm not around that for a minute, like I don't feel like myself. But then
totally.
that's why I like listen to the music and cook the food and watch the shows and do the things because like I can't just
Read
rely
the
on other
books and
people. Yeah.
yeah. You've done such a good job of always trying to keep every version of your authentic self around you.
Yeah. It's also been always a funny joke in my family because like my sister speaks so much more Spanish than me, but I'm like so much more Cuban than she is. It's funny.
That's funny.
It's a funny
That's
like
funny.
little dynamic. Anyway, okay. For Meadow from the same person. How do you trust the universe when tragedies happen in your life? Someone you love getting sick, death, etc. For Meadow in particular, since your experiences.
This is another great example of where I think traditional psychotherapy is really lacking spirituality that could help people out a lot because I just have a fundamental belief that we live in a benevolent universe that's helping me to be my best self. And that belief just carries me through fucking everything.
Hmm.
So, kind of the same way it's hard to just categorize everything as good because these
Yeah.
experiences are so hard and can be some of the heaviest things we go through. I fundamentally believe for myself without a shadow of a doubt that I'm getting lessons from these experiences that are so important to make me who I'm meant to be. And I just like I talk about that a lot with friends. I talk about it in
Hmm.
therapy. Again, like you use these beliefs to help motivate you to engage in all the tools that we're always discussing. But I think really, really holding on to that belief is like what gets me through it, which is kind of it's hard to say, a belief. Because if you don't have that belief, I think developing one that
Hmm.
works for you in a similar capacity. But I've always found that to be true for myself, even throughout the hardest things I've experienced, like losing half my fucking family members, and I still really monumentally believe it to be true.
Yeah. In the same vein as how annoying it is to say that there's a lesson in everything, I've always felt that way similarly. Like when we lost my grandma when I was like in the fifth grade, it was so tragic and so sudden. Even then, I remember begging whatever it was that I believed in, being like, I know that there is a reason that this happened. What is it? And finding maybe it's not the best thing to like say to someone in the moment, but I was saying it to myself that young. And I remember my cousins and I talk about it like that time after my cousins were living in Puerto Rico and they like moved in with us at my mom's house and we got a
Mhm,
really special time together that we would have not had that not
mhm,
happened. So like
mhm.
yes, it was fucked up what happened to my grandma and we got a really amazing time together. So I really just double down on what you said. And also for people who are like, it's delusional to believe in something greater than yourself. What makes you so uncomfortable with having a little bit of that delusion in the beginning? Like maybe poke around with that and have, if you want to call it delusion, because I guarantee you that if you start living your life in a trusting manner in that way and learning to be in this dance with the universe or whatever higher power it is that you believe in, you're going to start seeing things that are just going to be difficult for you to be like, well, that's a coincidence. Like it's going to prove itself to
Yeah.
you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Eventually it will.
Totally. It's really sad that organized religion is so fucked up that now any
Yeah.
semblance of faith or like belief is just categorized as delusion.
Yeah.
Because there's honesty in that. Obviously, everything else, like the capitalism of it, like the fear mongering, the controlling, like there's
Mhm.
a lot of shit in organized religion that's built to hate other people and get your money
Yeah.
and do like whatever. Like all that shit is so fucked. But the belief system and the faith system, like to just wash that away as delusional is really sad to me. I also just want to co-sign what you said because when my dad passed away and my brother was, receiving mental health care out of the state. So it was a time that only my mom and I lived together right before
Mhm.
for 1 year before I left for college. And prior to that, my mom and I were hating each other. Like
Mm.
just we're not getting along. We were friends when I was little and then throughout high school and all the trauma of everything that was happening with my family, just like fucking never saw eye to eye. When my dad had his accident, I wasn't there because I was fighting with my mom, so
Mhm.
I was somewhere. Like, it was just bad, bad, bad. That year gave us the year to come back together before I left forever, and I think that year is why we continue to have such a good relationship to this
Yeah.
day, and we continue working on it and moving forward, and it only gets better and better, but that year gave us fucking everything together and helped us heal. So I love that you brought up that example because I had such a similar one.
Having those reframes, honestly, in the darkest times can be the thing that keeps you going.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously,
as
seriously.
harsh as they may seem to make those reframes, like, they work
Yeah. And
sometimes.
I like what you said too, briefly, like, this is maybe not the most helpful thing to say to someone going through something as hard as grief right away. Like, I wouldn't be like, it happens for a reason. Like,
Right.
that's something that each person gets to come to for themselves and they get to decide what that looks like. It's not a helpful thing to say to someone.
Mhm.
If you are a friend of someone that's grieving, again, I've said it before and I'll say again, the absolute best fucking thing you can do is not ask them how you can help, is to show up and drop off food.
Yeah.
Ask them what their preferences are, their dietary restrictions or preferences. Don't say anything else. Show up, drop it off, and get the fuck out. Like,
Mhm.
show up, do a load of laundry, and get the fuck out. Like, do something
Yeah.
helpful and don't ask what it can be. Because if you're, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I'm like, you're a fucking idiot if you think someone that's going through grief is going to say, hey, by the way, can you come help me do laundry? Get over yourself. Like, if you don't want to actually help someone,
Yeah.
then ask the question. If you want to actually help someone, show up and just take something on.
Per. Okay.
One more.
Maybe yeah, one more.
We'll save the rest for the next go around.
Mhm. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Is it okay to keep seeing someone who I'm not obsessed with and I don't see a future with? You're talking to the right girl.
Fuck yeah. If you're not looking for that, then fuck yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Guys, guys. 10 out of 10 what Meadow just said. Like, also the way that I said that, I do not mean that about my current partnership. The way that I said that, I'm like, you're talking to the right
Oh, I
girl.
didn't take it that way. No,
No, no,
in
no, no,
a
no.
she's been there, done that kind of way.
And you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what? It sure was fun. I just
Yeah.
think though, if you are going to do that, don't build up a love story in like a false way to the other person if maybe they do see a future with you. I think that's when it gets mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, don't
Totally,
do that.
totally.
But if everybody's kind of like on the same page, and I don't mean this by saying like every relationship date thing that you be on, you're like, so we're not going to actually date. Like, let's just fuck or
Right,
like
right.
whatever it is. You know, sometimes we don't need that level of communication. But I think that like if you are having a good time and they're having a good time and everybody's kind of like again on the same page in the sense of like even if you're in a full ass blown relationship, like that's fine as long as you're not telling them every single day I want to marry you.
Right.
Cause like that's when it gets mean. But you guys are just like having a good time and like enjoying the experience. Like, dude, it is what it is. Do you know who also has a really helpful thought on this? Our
Hmm.
fucking girl, Maddie. Because in the realm
Our baby.
of moving in with people, if
Mm.
you're renting, not buying,
Mhm.
if you are
Mhm.
renting, she said it to me one time because I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to move, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, bro, if you're at a point where you feel like you want to move in with someone and they're on the same page and you guys can financially handle the responsibility and you've talked about all of the like, you know, things that you should talk about before you move in with your partner, fucking do it. At the end of the day, the lease is gonna end. If you guys break up, like you leave. Like, okay, sick. Like maybe account for like an extra cushion in your savings account for like if we break up so you can move. But fuck. Like sometimes it just is not that deep.
It reminds me of what Teffy was saying in the lying to your therapist. Like if you're not ready to touch that wound, that's why you're in therapy. Like you're working up the skills and working through shit to get to other places. Like in that same way, if you're not in a place where you're trying to get married right now and like that's not what you're looking for, then who's to say you're not able to enjoy what you're experiencing? Like it's all
doesn't mean you don't deserve
all
a
for a reason. It doesn't mean you don't exactly. It doesn't mean you don't deserve fun and don't deserve a relationship. It just again, as Gaby said, like make sure there's a healthy level of communication about intention without, you know, beating a dead horse or setting someone up for unrealistic expectations. Other than that, fucking have fun.
Yeah.
That's a cute place to
have
end.
Fun. That is a cute place to end. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you as always for sending the best questions and for trusting us to answer them.
And we have more. So of course, you know, we'll do more and more. This is our first Q&A of the back from the hiatus.
Yes.
Thigh slap, thigh drum.
Literally. Okay. Ciao for now. Thanks for listening.
Love you.
Meadow, what do they do? What do they need to do?
Rate and review. Ring the bell on YouTube. You guys, we have YouTube episodes and we're cute. We put on makeup to say hello to you today. So
yeah,
give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to us. We also are vlogging. We each have our own personal YouTube channels where we're really cute and fun. And if you want to see vlogs together, those are on Patreon. Patreon is the new group chat, baby. We got fun stuff over there too. There's a new moon tomorrow. I got to do those tomorrow. Can you just say
really quick? There is a TikTok personal chef that I follow and I can't remember her fucking name, but she's wonderful. And she just came out with a newsletter and her branding is adorable. And do you know what it's called? The group chat.
Shut up.
I know. I was like, she beat us to it.
I mean, she didn't beat us to it because we did it first, but it's not like we had the idea and no one else did.
No,
we all know how inspiration and ideas work. They all fucking flow to everybody.
Yeah, I know. All right. Ciao.
Love you. Bye.
How's it going, y'all? It's Aaron. Don't let your Monday suck. Don't have those Sunday scaries. I'm tired of everybody waking up in the week saying, shit, it's Monday. You know what goes down? TMV releases every week on Mondays. Make sure you rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're watching YouTube, yes, TMV has a YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and ring that noti bell and never miss a thing. And also, join the TMV Familia by joining the Thoughts May Vary Patreon and by following @ThoughtsMayVaryPod on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for listening.
Great.
There you go.
Thanks, AB.
Got y'all.